It began on an ordinary Tuesday evening. The antique shop stood at the end of a narrow street in the old part of town. Dust clung to the windows like forgotten memories. And inside, the air smelled of aged wood, faint lavender, and something metallic that lingered just at the edge of notice. Elena wandered in to escape the sudden rain, her footsteps soft on the creaking floorboards. She was 28, weary from endless library shifts, and lately her dreams had faded to gray, flat and empty. She missed the vivid ones from long ago, the kind that left her waking with wonder, or a quiet shiver down her spine. Among the cluttered shelves of cracked porcelain and yellowed pages, her eyes settled on it. A jar, simple clear glass, tall and gently tapered, topped with a heavy silver lid etched in swirling patterns that almost seemed to move if she blinked. No label, no price, just quiet presence. The shopkeeper, an old man with eyes like clouded glass, noticed where her gaze lingered. He spoke softly, his voice dry as old paper. "That one has been waiting." Elena smiled, a little uncertain. "How much?" He waved a thin hand. "Take it, for free. Some things choose their owners." She hesitated, then her fingers closed around the cool glass. It felt warmer than it should, almost pulsing faintly, like a slow heartbeat. She thanked him quietly, tucked the jar under her coat, and stepped back into the drizzle, rain pattering gently on her hood. That night, she set the jar on her nightstand, the room lit only by the soft glow of a bedside lamp. It stood empty. At first, she slipped under the covers, the rain tapping steadily against the window like distant fingers. And sleep came easily, and she dreamed. Not her usual pale fragments, but something alive. She walked through a forest of silver trees, leaves whispering her name in soft breaths, fireflies pulsing in rhythm with her heart. The dream wrapped around her, rich and warm. When she woke, the images clung, sharp and sweet. Curious, she reached for the jar, unscrewed the heavy lid with a faint metallic scrape. A thin thread of mist rose, pale blue, shimmering like moonlight on water. It drifted upward, then sank slowly back inside, as if settling into place. Elena's breath caught in her throat. She had put nothing in the jar, yet something was there. Over the following nights, the dreams grew stronger, more vivid. She tasted salt spray from oceans she had never seen, felt velvet fur brush her skin in jungles of deep green. Each morning, she lifted the lid, and another wisp of color coiled gently inside, joining the others. They swirled lazily, like smoke trapped in crystal, each one separate, distinct. She began to realize the jar was collecting them, her dreams, captured, held forever, perfect. At first, it felt like a secret gift. She slept deeper, woke renewed, and in quiet moments during the day, she stared into the glass, watching the colors shift, hinting at scenes, feelings, moments only she had lived in sleep. But then, the dreams began to change. They grew heavier, darker. One night, she found herself in a long hallway, doors stretching endlessly on both sides, each one locked tight. Behind them, voices murmured low, pleading. She tried to run, but her feet sank into the floor, warm, sticky, like melting tar. Her heart pounded as she struggled. When she woke, gasping, sheets twisted around her. The jar on the nightstand glowed very faintly. A new wisp had joined the rest. Darker, gray-streaked with black. It moved differently, pressing against the inside of the glass. Testing, searching. Elena stared, her pulse loud in her ears. She should have stopped, but the pull was too deep. She began sleeping longer, drifting off in the afternoons, on the couch, anywhere. Each time, The jar claimed a little more. The dreams turned stranger, edged with things she did not know. Faces of strangers whispered accusations. Cold hands reached from shadows, brushing her throat. And every morning, the jar filled further. The wisps pressed together now, swirling faster. A silent storm trapped in glass. One evening, she sat on her bed, legs crossed, the jar resting in her lap. She unscrewed the lid. Just a small crack, metal grinding softly. A long sigh escaped, like breath held for years. Then a voice, not loud, intimate, brushing her ear like cool silk. Give us more. The voice was hers, yet not. Layered, many versions of her speaking together. Elena froze, skin prickling. She slammed the lid down, the sharp clink echoing in the quiet room. Her hands trembled. That night, she fought sleep. Strong coffee, every light blazing, music playing loud, but her body betrayed her. Exhaustion pulled her under. She slept, and the dream was not hers. She stood in a vast chamber, walls of mirrored glass reflecting endlessly. In every reflection, the jar sat on a dark pedestal, lid wide open. Inside, thousands of wisps writhed, silent screams twisting through the colors. A figure emerged from the shadows, tall, cloaked in darkness, face hidden. It approached slowly, long pale fingers reaching, touching her forehead with icy gentleness. You have been generous, the figure whispered, voice like dry leaves scraping stone. Now, we return the favor. Pain exploded behind her eyes, memories flooded in. Not just hers. Accidents she never lived. Losses she never mourned. Betrayals she never made. They crashed over her, wave after wave. She woke screaming, the sound raw in her throat. The jar lay on the floor, lid off. Wisps poured out, slow at first, then rushing, filling the room with pale swirling smoke. They coiled around her, brushing her skin, cold, insistent. Whispers filled the air, overlapping, urgent. Remember me. You forgot. We were yours. Elena scrambled backward, heart slamming against her ribs. The smoke thickened, shapes forming, faces, hands, wide accusing eyes. One dark wisp, angry, coiled tight around her wrist. It burned, deep aching cold. She lunged for the jar, fingers shaking, slammed the lid back on, trapping most of the mist inside with a heavy thud. But not all. A few strands lingered, drifting toward her, seeking. She ran to the window, threw it open, night air rushing in cold and sharp. The remaining wisps floated out, dissolving into the darkness. Silence fell, heavy. Elena stood trembling, staring at the jar. It was nearly empty now, only faint colors swirling weakly. She could smash it, hurl it into the street, but she did not. Instead, she placed it carefully back on the nightstand, screwed the lid tight, the metal clicking softly, and went to bed. That night, she dreamed nothing. No color, no sound, no feeling, just endless black, empty. When morning came, she opened her eyes. The jar was full again, brighter than before, and in the center, one dark wisp pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. She stared at it for a long time. Then very gently, she reached out, unscrewed the lid. Just a little. The whisper returned, soft, patient, more. Elena smiled small, weary. She closed her eyes and let the dreams begin once more. The jar, hungry, waited, always waiting.